man.
I want Miss Handjob back. Oh, Miss Hancock.
Oh boy, do I want her back. Oh boy.
Oh, boy.
Easy.
Fuck yeah.
Easy.
Push that shit down. HK's walking around the living room knocking shit off the coffee table with that fucking moonstone.
What do you want me to do? Cut it off?
Fuck yeah. Hey, the juice is loose, brother.
What's going on, guys?
Juice, where do you stand on the bra and panties match or the whatever fucking nonsensical bullshit these two idiots want back in wrestling?
Wait. Everybody calls the IC belt the workhorse belt, so why can't we have the women's IC belt be the titty belt?
And it could still be a workhorse belt.
Oh, fuck yeah.
I fear that Evolution 2, the pay-per-view rated X, would be what you guys would like to be doing if that would be the case. Bra and panties matches were cool whenever I was growing up, which means I was, 12 to 15 years old, right in the meaty part of the, right where I needed it, to be fair, right in the viewing audience that they needed. So if, they brought them back, would I hate it? No, but I think a lot of people would. And that's really the majority. Unfortunately, I'm not the majority. So
see, XPW would still be in business if fucking Rob Black just took our advice.
No.
Yes, man. More titties, less hypodermic needles in wrestling. Am I wrong? I am not wrong.
No,
I'm here
yeah.
for steroids back in wrestling. I'm here for steroids. Just
They
like
never
baseball.
I think they're kind of back, right?
Well, we don't know, but yeah, I would assume they are.
Yeah.
Based on how jacked everybody is these days.
Talking about jacked.
Couldn't be that.
Really? Juice, I don't know what you thought you were walking into tonight, my friend, but this is kind of the way the wind blew. And
Hey, I'm here
speaking
for
of
it,
blowing, come on, Double T, say something witty.
I don't have anything witty to say. Fucking Handsome Kevin went to SmackDown and there's all these great things happening, but you want fucking titty matches. You're such a creepy old man. And then we got the juice box here.
That's right.
And he makes a great valid point, but you want to bring back up XPW.
A women's title could be the Juice Box Championship.
You want to bring back Wrestling Society X while we're back at it?
I love Wrestling Society X, so go
Absolutely.
for it.
I think it was kind of underrated. Yeah, it was only a season,
One season.
Damn.
No, it was one. I will fight you till the day you die, brother. I got the one and only set on that rack right there.
SJ said, "Holy shit, is Juice and KJG twins? You guys look like siblings."
All right, he's a handsome guy. I'll take it.
Hey, yeah, you're kind of you're too far back, but you look like
yeah. I'm in a basement.
What does that have? I'm in a basement.
All right.
My camera across the room.
Yeah.
Let's hear it for basements.
What the fuck?
And titties.
Maybe we can bring back Double Kato and do some like Raw Underground with some ladies matches.
They had it at NXT. Do you not watch pay-per-views?
Come on. It was right there for you.
Davo was at MLW, wasn't he?
I know.
He's at
Double Ding Dong.
He's at Juggalo Championship Wrestling too.
All right, but anyway, Juice Springsteen here is Juicy Steen on the Twitter machine, the Juice Box, every Friday. You've heard him, you've seen him on his podcast. He's done a bunch of stuff with our buddy Kyle over at the Apron Bump podcast, and he was kind enough to join us for whatever this nonsense is tonight. Brundo threw it to you, since you are an expert in all things WCW, that you bring your favorite WCW pay-per-view to the table and we discuss. So, Mr. Juicebox, the floor is yours.
First of all, appreciate you guys welcoming me into this fray of insanity. I would not want to spend my Monday night anywhere else, so I appreciate the offer. I don't know where you guys all sit in age ranges, so this will be interesting where I present this pay-per-view to you guys, but my personal favorite WCW pay-per-view, and I feel like a lot of people have the same sentiment, but who knows? That's why I'm here. That's why you guys are here. I'm going to go with none other than Spring Stampede 1994.
Woo! Fuck yeah!
So this is a loaded card, top to bottom. Sting and Rude is Rude's like last pay-per-view match. He doesn't get to turn babyface to go against Vader, even though they set that up at this show. You get Flair Steamboat 5 years after it initially happened in Chicago. Vader and the Boss kill each other in a Super Hoss fight. And then, of course, I would be remiss without the Chicago street fight between the Nasty Boys and Cactus Jack and Max Payne. So there's plenty of good stuff on the show. It's like a month and a half away before they really acknowledge Hulk Hogan coming in. So this is like the last little bit of WCW without Hogan, which is nice to savor because it's not that it goes downhill, but by the end of the year, the Butcher's in the main event of Starrcade, so it does go downhill.
Love the Butcher. Don't you dare.
I agree with that though, because there were a lot of interesting stories going on before Hogan came in. I mean, at that point, you kind of, I mean, Hulk Hogan's a free agent. You kind of have to bring him in, but I get it. There was a lot of juicy story going on, a lot of it building up. Hogan kind of threw a monkey wrench into that, but also Rick Rude getting hurt kind of like derailed a lot of that. I saw that
clip recently, and it's so tough to watch. Not only just how awful it looks on his lower back, but just knowing that it stops this amazing career really from having another renaissance, because he was killing it in WCW up until then.
But my God, my favorite is that Chicago street fight from this show. Like, there's so much good on this show, but that thing was just above and beyond anything else that anybody's really seen up to that point. When Cactus takes the bump off the ramp and you just hear the thud. Oh man!
And he hits him with the shovel right in the face. And the other part, Cactus on the ramp. There's two parts on the ramp, but he suplexes one table onto sags or knobs, and that same table is then used. Because it was already like kind of beat up, they tried to do a pile driver on it, and it just collapses underneath them, which kind of works. I don't care if it's a botch or not. It looked amazing to see it back. So, and it was on the Mick Foley's Greatest Hits and Misses DVD probably 20 years ago, and that's where I first saw the match. And I mean, if you haven't seen it, go out of your way to watch that. If not this whole show.
Yeah, I've got the Foley DVD, and I've also got a VHS copy of this pay-per-view, and it's one of my favorite things. I'll pop in.
I wanted to bring forth this. I'm wearing the shirt from said event.
Oh, fuck yeah.
That's great.
So, yeah. So I'm like, as he brought up earlier, I'm maybe not an expert. That's very generous for you guys to say, but I pride myself on being one of the guys that kind of preserve the history of and support any good, bad, and damn near ugly WCW 2000 of WCW. So anything in regards to that, I'm here for it.
So when you started off with like Spring Stampede, I'm like, so I wasn't sure where we left it off, whether we were doing pay-per-view or favorite match, right? So like my favorite match is from Spring Stampede 1997. Right? And I thought like you were going, my man's going to say Spring Stampede 1997.
DDP and Randy Savage.
Which is, DDP Savage, hands down, right?
Yeah.
So my question to you is, we'll get back to the actual event that you wanted to talk about. Were there any runners-up that you had thought about?
As a matter of fact, yes, and it happens to be the exact next pay-per-view in the schedule, Slamboree 94, which has got another chaotic, not street fight, it's the Broad Street Bully match, which is Cactus and Sullivan versus the Nasties, where Cactus actually gets the World Tag Team title, even though he wanted to get his ear repaired, and they were like, no, just keep working. And we also get a rematch, Dustin Rhodes and Bunkhouse Buck. I don't think it's as good as their Bunkhouse match from the aforementioned Spring Stampede, but I think it's great. Sting and Van Vader, and my personal favorite in this whole thing, third match on the card, well, second on the outside of the pre-show, but it's Terry Funk, Tully Blanchard in like the Legends match. And it's so great because not only is it just like 10 minutes of these guys just beating the piss out of each other, but on the call is Bobby Heenan and Gordon Soley. So you really never got to hear those two guys specifically together, and to hear them call this match of two guys that just hate each other, it's wonderful. So I'd say Slamboree 94, again, right before Hogan comes in and just, of course they had to hire him, but nostalgic WCW was never the same.
Is this a runner-up because he had to sit through a Larry Bisco match on this one?
Wow! You motherfucker! Wow! What a dick!
Wow. Well, maybe. I'd also like to present the shirt from that event. I came prepared today.
Holy shit!
Yeah. So
Now, when I got to ask, Juicy, when did you start collecting the shirts from the pay-per-views?
I'd say probably 2017. I just started doing shirts in general, classic vintage shirts, when I first kind of got a job that I was like, oh, I got some extra money. Maybe I can find something else to collect and hoard my house with. And I had this Cactus Jack Bang Bang WCW shirt. And I was like, oh, that's great. But then I found an opportunity to trade for, and I don't have it here with me, but the Super Brawl 4 T-shirt, which has Vader and Flair on it. If you check out my Instagram, which is at Juicy Wrestling Closet, I've got any of these shirts. I'm trying to collect every pay-per-view shirt from WCW from 1990 to 2001. And I've got everything from 97 to the end. And I need 10 more to complete that entire window. So it's been a long journey, but I love having these shirts because not many people even got them if you did go there, or some of them that are the crew shirts, only a few cameramen got them. So it is what it is.
What is the most you will pay for a T-shirt?
If it's one of the ones I need left, I mean, all things are up for grabs. I spent quite a lot on not a WCW shirt, but Survivor Series 94 recently, which is like the Western motif all over full print shirt. I spent quite a bit of change on that, but that was one I've been looking for a long time. So if it was one to complete my set, I'd be willing to fork over some money. There's also some shirts out of the ones I need I've never even seen. So who knows if I ever get a chance.
What triggered this fascination with WCW, like in and amongst itself?
So I am going to turn 32 next year. And whenever I was 3, on the June 10th, 1996 episode of Nitro, my dad took me. I think my mom was there as well. We went to Nitro. And that's the episode where Kevin Nash comes out. I want to say debuts, but he was already kind of there, but he was never Kevin Nash. And if you see when Jim Duggan makes his entrance in his big, great match against Dave Taylor, they cut to my dad holding me in the audience. So my dad watched wrestling. He watched, Georgia Championship Wrestling, WCW, up until, that I was born, and he showed me wrestling, and we watched Nitro and taped Raw, and it never really changed, never really stopped. And WCW was the company I loved. And there's just so much about it that I have nostalgia for. And like I said earlier, I just like being the guy that preserves as much history, educate people about it if they want to know about it, and just celebrate it, because revisionist history sucks, and WWE is number one when it comes to that. So,
oh boy,
I want to ask
you're not wrong though.
It depends on the time frame we're talking about here.
Well, sure. I mean, there's plenty of things. I mean, the Who Kills WCW series I felt was really interesting, to say the least. And I was on like a panel discussion discussing that. And I mean, we came up with 100 different things that it could have killed WCW. We kind of mellowed it down to death by 1,000 cuts. This storyline didn't work. Like Goldberg, for instance, Goldberg wins the world title, ascends to be one of the biggest stars in the pro wrestling world, defends it twice on pay-per-view, and then loses it, and then never gets another shot at the title, and they just get rid of it. Like certain little things like that, when you stand back, it's like, well, no wonder they, were a coffin on roller skates, as they say.
This is Tony Schiavone.
Yeah. So
we ran down the Spring Stampede 94 card for the most part, but also like fucking stunning Steve Austin, Great Muta. Like, what a fucking match.
Yeah, too bad it, spoiler alert, ends on a over-the-top rope back body drop, because of all the things that do suck in WCW, that rule was definitely near the top of that list, because it ruined so many matches.
At his finest.
Yeah, come on.
I'm upset. I am upset you didn't bring up the dark match.
Danny Bonaduce.
Yes, that's what I wanted. I was going to ask that. I was like, what's the backstory on that horse shit?
I don't think there's any. Well, isn't he going against the one guy from? He's going against Peter Brady. Yeah, so it was just, I don't know. They figured they could make some sort of interesting youth star thing happen, and I wish there was. I'm sure there's footage of it somewhere. Maybe WWE Vault will put it out. They've been doing some killer stuff. I'd like to see them put that match out there. Maybe they'll put Jimmy Hart versus Mancow too.
Mancow.
Oh, just gonna mention that.
Yeah. Which one? It seemed like that was every dark match.
And they're so ahead of their time, because then like 10 years later, or how many years later, we get Celebrity Championship Wrestling with Danny Bonaduce on it.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah, but that guy's a fucking problem. You know what I mean? Like, didn't he beat the shit out of fucking one of the guys from Welcome Back, Cotter? Oh no, he beat up Screech. That's right.
He beat up Screech.
R.I.P.
Yeah, R.I.P. Dustin Diamond. He was a jerk though. So,
wow.
Sorry,
I didn't say what the P was for.
Ah.
So, what about you guys? You guys have any specific favorite WCW pay-per-view memories or?
Matt has one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Not
You know where I'm going.
not so much the pay-per-view. It was the 8-hour car ride to Starrcade 97.
Oh, wow. I mean, you were there?
Yes.
Wow. I mean,
Yes.
as much as I'd be like, that's amazing, that's also unfortunate for how things kind of turned out. Although the fans seemed to like the end regardless of how convoluted it was.
Yeah, it was. And the unfortunate part was we missed the first match, which was the best match of the whole card.
Best match in the whole thing.
And the only thing I really remember is somebody in front of me had a sign that said the NWO sucks bull anus.
Bull anus.
Bull anus.
Bull Ramus?
And then it took fun. We're in Jersey, so it took us 8 hours to get to DC, and that's only like a 4-hour car ride. So that was rough.
Was the weather terrible? Because that's
No.
right in the thick of December too.
It was not. It was just a very fucking. There was just traffic everywhere.
Oh my god.
Yeah, traffic in DC and fucking Baltimore, that whole area sucks.
Yeah. Just any turnpike in general sucks, honestly, especially on a Sunday.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I guess the 97 Starrcade. That's it. That's the only WCW show I've ever been to live.
I wish I could have been to one, but I was just, like I said, Nitro and I think a couple of house shows in the late 90s. So at least I got to go. It's cool that it's over. It's been gone for so long. It's very few and far between that people have even got to go. You know?
So you'll appreciate this. The guys here on the show know this, but my first ever wrestling event, like major, other than like an independent show, in New Jersey, like 20 minutes outside New York City, was a WCW show at the Meadowlands. It was a WCW house show. Ric Flair versus Sting in a cage with Elegante as the special guest referee.
Of course.
Oh wow.
This is like 1991, 1990. And
is that unrelated to the one where
the belt?
Is it Sting wins the title?
No, it's
Or
not.
Flair
It's
wins it?
unrelated to that. I thought,
Okay.
like in my mind's eye, I trained myself to like remember that was the one, but
Right.
it wasn't.
You wish, but
Yeah, no, it sucks. And I just remember bringing like a sign on like a paper like this big saying "Flying Brian" on
wow.
it.
You're
So,
ahead of the game.
I was a big sign guy back then. No, but it's so interesting to see like the legacy that WCW still has, even with like the death of WCW documentaries and all the WWE documentaries, and guys like you to try to keep it alive. What makes you want to keep it alive?
Kind of like what I said with like revisionist history.
Yeah.
Like, of course, WCW had its faults and whatever, but I mean, they really pushed WWE to the limit. Like, let's just go against Raw. Like that's nuts, especially with how people view the discourse now with AEW and they only are on Wednesdays. There's no competition. Let's manufacture competition with NXT. Or WCW was just like, no, let's just do it. And I love that they had the balls to just do it, and it could have failed. I like that Eric Bischoff came in, and even in arguably, across the board, people say 95 was terrible for wrestling. WCW turned a profit in 1995. Like, that's insane to me. And I don't know. The cruiserweights were very innovative, and you can see certain things that happened throughout WCW's history that you look now and it's like, well, this is all the time. Real life, interesting storylines, cruiserweight action, slips. Plenty of different unique things that I just, some people like to forget that WCW had it all.
So going back to your pay-per-view pick of Spring Stampede 1994, do you think the bloom fell off the rose for Steamboat because he had that like unmemorable second run in WWE as the Dragon, comes back kind of wearing the same gear, very soon after, if not before, he's relegated to the TV title picture. What were your did you know enough about it at the time, or definitely not at the time?
Not the time, no.
Yeah, but like going back and like watching it, did you realize like where Steamboat's career had progressed?
I always find it interesting because one of the shows that I had access to only because growing up in the 90s, if you like, there was no network, there was no easy accessibility. You had a VHS tape. That was all you had. And a couple of the VHS tapes I did have, my dad had taped Clash 17, which was the one where Steamboat makes his return, which again to be partners with Dustin Rhodes, right?
Yep.
And it's out of nowhere, and he even wears like the dragon like mask to kind of preview the whole thing. Looking back on that, it's crazy that he not only was just in WWE, but he had just left from NWA before that. And that quick little run there, the very forgotten, just the dragon, although he got a Hasbro out of it.
Sure did.
But he goes in and comes back to WCW and has I think a great run there. His matches with Austin and again, this little run with Flair, I thought it was really cool. And again, just like Rude, this is another one of his last matches before he had to hang it up for a while. Luckily, we got him back for Backlash 09 against Jericho and some other spots. But I don't know. He's kind of another, like a Renaissance guy. He just never seemed to get old, even though he was one of the older guys that they had.
Why do you think every wrestling company tries to relive ECW, but nobody tries to bring back WCW? Have you ever thought about that? You had any ideas on that? Why that is?
I don't know on why that is. That's up to the eye of the beholder. Triple H, whoever's running things. I always find it funny that they did One Night Stand, it killed, and that was after the Rise and Fall of ECW DVD. They capitalized on it, but what did they do? They threw it away. WWE ECW. They tried to manufacture something with that. Now, even though I will say that Kofi Kingston came out of there, Sheamus came out of there, CM Punk was kind of in there. It worked out. Matt Cardona. So it worked out for some guys, but as a whole, what the hell are we doing with the zombie and all that garbage? So WCW, I almost prefer that they never went that route. And instead you get Tony Schiavone somehow coming back into the fold. And now he's an AEW commentator for a huge company. You've got Halloween Havoc as an entity back for NXT and Great American Bash for that matter. And I like that they are going back and using some of these names and kind of hearkening back to WCW without necessarily saying it. To me, it is kind of frustrating because it's like, well, we know where this came from. Why can't you acknowledge that? But
War Games,
my God. Yeah. I'd be remiss, but I got 5 other boxes I'm talking to.
That's
so
it's
all chaotic, but yeah, War Games. I mean, a match type that I would have felt would have been killer in WWE. Of course, they came up with the Elimination Chamber as kind of the next step in that, but War Games coming back, and it's clear that WCW still resonates with a lot of people, whether they acknowledge it as like, this is the former WCW match, or this used to be a pay-per-view. It's not as blatant as ECW, but I kind of like that instead of how many reunion shows have we done for ECW? Hardcore Justice 2010? Come on.
Too many is the answer.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's because you can't really get those WCW guys, or at least
true.
If you tried to run a WCW 2010 reunion, it would be like the Natural Born Thrillers or something like that.
I don't know. Have you seen Buffy Baggs and Scotty Riggs lately? Those fucking dudes are jacked as shit.
Is there a match?
What tag team were they a part of? You guys want to?
Fucking holy shit!
Slam your grandma.
Yeah, slam your grandma. You know that story, right, Juice?
I do not.
If you play American Males backward, and there's a video on YouTube, it says "Slam your grandma."
That makes sense. That's why. I always felt it was, with the guy Buff Bagwell, polarizing, whatever you want to think of him. He had 2 of the more memorable theme songs in wrestling history with the American Males and Buff Daddy. I always felt that was pretty unique for a guy who was, he was whatever in the ring.
He's a lifer, man.
Yeah.
But I mean, he won gold with the Patriot. He won gold with Too Cold Scorpio.
Yeah. He also seemed to win the Rookie of the Year like 4 years in a row.
Yeah. PWI Rookie of the Year 2 years in a row, 100%.
If he doesn't break his neck, who knows where he would have gone?
Yeah.
But,
or if he wasn't Buff Bagwell, he could,
Buff Bagwell was over.
He was over in the summer of '99 for sure.
Yeah. If he didn't get caught having his mom shave his balls.
I was going to say his mom could still be shaving his balls today.
Yeah.
From
checking his schedule, see how many sick days he has left to call Jim Ross and be like,
no, his mom calls Jim Ross.
Yeah.
What does she call him?
Is there a Is there a match type? Like I know we talked about WWE using like war games and some of the other event branding. Is there a match type that they haven't brought back yet that you would like them to use? I mean, is it a Doomsday Cage? Is it a Battle Bowl? Is it a World War III? Because I love those concepts from the different things that they've done.
Yeah, I mean, I could rattle off a lot. I mean, they kind of did the Thunder Cage was interesting, although it wasn't really electrified. I always felt it was just, again, the Hell in a Cell kind of made that into a way better design of there's movement around the ring, but you still can't get out type deal. Of course, there's a roof on it. Objectively, I'm a huge fan of Battle Bowl. I felt that they really, like, in a worked world, you could have made, I can't believe they somehow ended up as a tag team. You could have made so many of those look like works, look like a shoot, but be a work. The whole, like, they just fumbled it. And it was like, no. We want Arachnaman and Scott Steiner because we can. Or let's do a real draw. Like, why would, if you have a chance to make it a work, why not? Because you could have had some amazing things there. But I've been hearkening. I think World War III would be unbelievable. I don't know if they would want to. They've done 2 rings. Fuck it. Do 3. Let's see it. Even for one time, I think bringing, how much talent does all these companies have?
Exactly.
You could do it. 60 easily. Men, you whittles down to just 10 in each ring, even if you wanted to do that for 30.
I would make a special ring 20 by 60 just to encompass everything and just like make it one big stretch. Imagine running the fucking ropes crossways for that fucking thing. Like an Irish whip and
oh man.
But Juice, one match I didn't hear you bring up, Bunkhouse Stampede. We can't bring that back in 2024.
There's the Bunkhouse match too. I think they might have brought back a Bunkhouse match in AEW if I'm not mistaken.
They definitely did with Dustin.
Battle Royal where you gotta throw people out of the cage. What a fucking abomination that was. And that was out on Long Island too. That was our neck of the woods.
1988.
Fucking terrible.
Yeah, they ran it against and then Vince ran the Royal Rumble the same day.
Yeah, but they also didn't have the correct start time. They didn't know who was on the show. And then it's a battle royal where 3 guys fall out of the cage at the same time. It's like, come on, man.
I'm looking at this fucking 1991 Battle Bowl over here. Jesus Christ.
What you should do is look at the standalone 93 Battle Bowl pay-per-view from November and see the amazing talent they got for that thing.
I don't know. 91's pretty impressive. Fucking Bill Casimir and Jushin Thunder Liger.
Bill Casimir and Liger as a team was wild. Yeah.
Is that the same year that Zbyszko and Gigante were together?
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that match.
Steamboat and
it's amazing when Gigante is the most talented guy on a team.
Well, you're an asshole.
My son
agree with Brenda.
My son's been watching bodybuilding videos, and Bill Casimir popped up. I'm like, oh, I know him. That's Bill Casimir. He's like, how the fuck do you know that? I'm like, he's a fucking WCW superstar. Like, you don't know this?
You'd walk down with a giant fucking rubber globe.
Yeah, the world, yeah.
I'll tell you this. Charlie Norris does not get enough respect.
No, definitely not.
Oh, my God.
All right,
fake Tatanka.
Yeah, he's no longer with us, huh?
He was pre-Tatanka.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah, he was.
Tatanka was like late 92, I thought.
Tatanka was 91.
Oh, no, late 91.
I never recognized him. I always recognized Charlie Norris first.
Oh, no, that's Fall Brawl.
Well, was Tatanka
Tyler
always
Mane?
Was Tatanka always Tatanka? Was he like an Italian character before? Yeah.
No, in WWE he was only Tatanka.
No, but like before he was Tatanka, was he something else?
On the Indies, he was Chris Chavis, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, was he wearing like the feather headdress and everything?
He was the
just
War
like
Eagle.
That's right.
So he's always been the gimmick.
Yeah, but Charlie Norris is definitely before T-Tonk.
As a Minnesota guy, and he is a Minnesota guy, yes, I recognize Charlie Norris before I recognized Tatanka.
I acknowledge Charlie Norris.
Yeah, I acknowledge Charlie Norris.
The true bloodline.
That's right.
He didn't pay taxes on his fucking headdress either, you cocksuckers.
Take it easy, Rotunda.
Is that a fat joke?
No,
it was a sweaty joke.
How does it make sense to me that the Nasty Boys had 2 like the best tag team matches in 1994?
Because they were awesome, bro.
Because
All right,
their gimmick was weird, brawling, disgusting guys, and they had great, disgusting looking brawls, and it worked. Like
And great, disgusting looking assholes too.
Them and at least half of them, to our knowledge.
It's actually Tony's thing that he's blowing into right now.
Hey, here's Brian Knobs.
It's a replica.
Don't encourage him.
Their match with the Steiners at Havoc 90 is one of their best, I'd say, as well.
And I think it's definitely not in the same era. It might be leaning more towards 96, 97. There's like a three-way dance between like them. I want to say Harlem Heat and the Faces of Fear, or it could be
Public Enemy, maybe.
Or maybe it's the Outsiders actually.
Yeah, it might be World War III 96. Maybe.
Dude, like you want to throw them in like a fight, they're there, man. Like they're Nasty Boys they're like an acquired taste, but once you taste
they
it,
are.
You're like
once you get it, you're like, oh, okay. And then you get excited. It's like, oh, they're going against another bunch of nuts like Jack and Max Payne or Cactus and Sullivan. It's like, all right, well, like there's some in the match specifically for Spring Stampede, they use like not folding chairs. Just like plastic, like, and they're hitting them with like the worst part of the chair. There's a pull cue, and they're just not working it. They're just killing each other, and that's why it's such a great match. Like when you guys mentioned when Cactus takes a flat back on the concrete, and then Sag just takes the shovel and holds it for a second, and it just kills him right in the face. And like that's the finish. Okay. Wonder how they set that up backstage. Okay, this is what we want you to do. I'm just gonna lay there. Just hit me with it. Just kill me.
Just do it.
I don't want to
End
be
it,
here.
please. Seriously, just end it.
I want to collect my Lloyd's of London deal.
How deep do you go into the TV shows? Like, do you go deep into Worldwide?
I mean, I watch them, but I mean, I not the knowledge of them might not be as widespread.
Gotcha. Yeah, there's a
Worldwide. There's some good stuff.
There's a match I've been trying to figure out for years. I just remember it younger, and I just remember it being Terry Funk, and they used a trash can on Worldwide, and it fucking blew me away. It was the main event. I can't find it anywhere. I was going, well, here's the guy to ask.
There is a match, you say that, with Cactus and Sting, and it's Submit or Surrender on Power Hour. I think it's on one of the DVDs, and there's a trash can, a gray trash can that they put over, I think, Cactus or something. There's an elbow drop on it. I can vividly remember.
Yeah. This is definitely Worldwide, because that was our 11 o'clock Channel 9 Saturdays, and the lazy Susan ring, right? So.
Oh yeah. Hey, speaking of the ring, how about this? This is how deep in the weeds I can get. What are you guys' thoughts on the acoustics of the WCW ring?
In the soundstage?
Just how the ring sounds when they take bumps on it, and how unique and different, and to me, aesthetically pleasing to my ears to hear that, like someone just take a bump on the ring. I don't know.
That's a deep cut. I'd actually have to go back and like watch.
It just sounds a certain way. I think ECW sounded like a cannon, but WCW was like a certain.
If you close your eyes and you don't hear commentary and you hear just two guys working in that ring, you could tell right away it's a WCW ring. Absolutely, I'm there with you. Absolutely.
Hey,
but it's fun. It's fun. Like 96 ECW ring, where like Bubba Ray Dudley will take a bump in the middle of it and fucking spring 2 feet in the air. Like that thing was a fucking walking trampoline. It really was.
Like RVD getting pile driven by Tommy Dreamer.
Yeah,
and he,
but
bounces fly up and
exactly. That ring must have been so amazing to work in.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
You know what gimmick that I think WWE should bring back, and they kind of did with like Taboo Tuesday and Cyber Sunday. It was like, do you remember when there would be like two separate locker rooms of heels and baby faces, and you would actually have to call in and like vote for who you want in this match?
Oh yeah, I think they
didn't really have a name for it. It was just like call in and vote for the main event.
I think they did that on Saturday night because it turned out to be like Sting and Flair as like one of the main events.
I know that you have like Sting, Hacksaw, like Johnny B. Bad, like, and you all know. Come on, let's be honest here. We all know who we're voting for here. You had like Vader, and you had like Dirty Dick Slater, and like in the heel locker room.
In Battle Ball, I liked that they had the separate locker rooms with my one of my favorite moments from that Starrcade 91 Battle Bowl is when Buddy Lee Parker gets introduced and Abdul the Butcher just beats the shit out of him, throws him into the lockers, and then Buddy eventually comes out like crawling. Literally, he crawls the entire way to the ring. Maybe that's his military background. And he gets so close, and like you can hear the fans faintly being like, Buddy, Buddy. And he gets in the ring just to get cross-bodied, I think by Steamboat, oddly enough. And that's the whole match. It's
dude. Is there any better comp in the world between WCW and WWE? Buddy Lee Parker and Brooklyn Brawler. They're like the same wrestler. Like they get a reaction, but they're just getting fucking destroyed every week.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I'd kind of throw Brad Armstrong into that mix, although he's a wonderful in-ring worker.
Maybe the Gambler.
The Gambler, maybe. Yeah.
Like Buddy Lee Parker, you could throw out on like a house show, like an opening match.
Well,
like
they put him in some high level situations in like the last 2-3 months of WCW.
Goldberg
as Dwayne Bruce, when he was like, "Oh, I trained Goldberg, and you got a team with him, and if you lose, your career's over." And I don't know what the hell they're doing. It's so frustrating.
I don't mean to cut you guys off, but this is the best comment I've read in a while. Coming in from Paul Peaches. Why does Brundle look like a used condom?
Who the fuck is that?
He's a new fan. We love him.
Hey, thanks for listening.
Hey, at least you got noticed.
Yeah, I'll take it. Any of that is good.
That's why I sit so far back.
What a professional. Juice, if you are, and I don't know if you know about this, but if there's a podcast by Chris Zellner, Rob Naylor, and Charles, the wrestling playlist guy, Center Stage Chronicles.
I heard of it, but I don't think I've actually listened to it. Should I go out of my way to listen to it?
Yes. It's on the Between the Sheets podcast feed. They do an episode like once a month. It's awesome. It's fucking awesome. I
will be downloading it as soon as I can.
Yeah, because I think they start in like 89 NWA right before it transitions to WCW. And Rob Naylor's got the weirdest fucking recall memory. It's so beautiful to listen to the way he cackles and talks about NWA. It's such a great fucking listen. I highly recommend it. If you love WCW, like they do an unbelievable job. So I'd highly recommend check that out. After, of course, you listen, not you, but the listeners, they listen to the Juice Box every Friday.
That's right. Every single Friday on all major platforms. Sometimes I do video stuff. I'm kind of branching out into that, but definitely audio. I cover whatever happens in the last week, but I use my journalism degree, which I don't use for my real job. So when I do my pods, I interview some folks that have either had wrestling in their lives for a little bit, a lot, are wrestlers, commentate wrestling all over the place. So kind of branch out with different things. So
what can we expect from the Juice Box this Friday?
Oh boy. I mean, this week we got a lot. We're probably going to do a Saturday night's main event preview, maybe a little throwback to some old stuff, just kind of run down what the show used to be and how it got revived in 2006. And I always felt like that first revival of it, the first two of those, because they were live, they started taping them after that, were pretty cool. I like Shane versus Shawn Michaels leading up to Mania 22, I thought was dope. So that's definitely something we'll be chatting about, and probably talk about the Ray Phoenix of it all, and some other news and notes of this week. But should be a fun time this week. A lot of stuff going on as we get Saturday night's main event, World's End, Netflix Raw. It's chaos happening at the end of the year. So I'm here for it. Great time to be a wrestling fan.
That's why we like it. And Juice, thank you. Excuse me, as I continue to be sick. We appreciate you taking time out of your Monday night to join us, talk some WCW. And hopefully you'd like to come back on and shoot the shit with us in the future.
I would love to. This has been so much fun. All five of you guys, you kind of bring little things. Each one of you has brought a little point here and there, and I've been able to feed off all of it. And it was very welcoming. So, and you got a cat up there.
Cat. She's good to show her butthole at least once a night.
Hey, nasty boys, nasty cat. So appreciate you guys having me on. I'll be welcome anytime. I come on anytime.
And Juice, I just followed you on Spotify.
That's right. Appreciate it, brother.
Checking out the podcast on Friday, my friend.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Have a
Thanks
good
for
Thank you
coming
for
on,
joining
man.
us.
Thanks for joining us,
Yep.
Juice. Be well, brother.
Yep, you guys too.
Thank you. Guys, you could follow the Juice at Juicy Steen on the Twitter machine. He's got the link tree in there. It'll send you to his Spotify. It'll send you to his Instagram, and you can, maybe sell some of your old WCW T-shirts to him
That's right.
if you got them and you're looking to get rid of them. The Juice wants them. The Juice is
See
loose.
you guys. The juice is out.